Hello. Welcome to Living in the Light, and I'm Mary Amy. I'm coming to you live from New York, and I'm all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your true potential, and cracking open that beautiful glow in your heart. Welcome to the fifth dimension. Here we all are. We are ascending. It's the grand, great awakening. And it is November 16th. It is Thursday. Is that correct? It's Thursday in the Matrix Work Week. How are you? I'm so glad to be here. Anyone who's joining us, doesn't matter where you live, what you look like, what you have, or what you do. You are a beautiful being of light. You're highly advanced, and it's only going to get better from here. And so tonight we have topics like government corruption, naughty. I'm going to mention the government debt that we have, end of our civilization as we know it. Not the greatest place to have lived, is it? I'm going to mention redemption and sky event. Of course, I'm going to touch on angels. We're going to do some psychic phenomenon. How is everyone tonight? What's new? Whoever you are, right in the chat, tell me what you think, what you're going through, whatever experiences you might want to share. Of course, I'm going to speak about dreams. It's interesting. Last night, my sleeping dreams. I slept 10 hours last night. And I went to bed at 7:30. And I had these dreams, and I think I was releasing some of my past, some big chunks of my past. And what was interesting was that the dreams that I had were vivid, and anyone in my life in those particular circumstances that had kind of given me a hard time actually seemed like the best version that they could possibly have been. So it was almost like I was rewriting my life in my dreams. And I had two very powerful dreams that it kind of gave me some peace. And I speak about our sleeping dreams because our sleeping dreams will guide us. Maybe they will problem solve for you. Maybe you'll look at a situation from a different perspective. It might give you some kind of stamina or insight into a new part of your life, maybe some kind of opportunity, a relationship, a friendship, something about you. I mean, because when we're crushed like we've been in this matrix, we've been enslaved. We literally were born and then we're plopped into schools, into the education system. We didn't go out every day and spend the day in nature and thrive. We were sitting in chairs in a classroom, given books to memorize information and spit it back out. Maybe you went to art class or writing class and you used your imagination. And that's where our civilization, I believe, is going. We're going to nature and we're going to creativity and we're awakening our higher consciousness. We're becoming more aware of who we are. We're tuning inward. And that's why I like to do some psychic phenomenon exercises, because that's more important for you to discover what's inside of you. The outer world out here, we really can't control, can we? We can only control this. So let's make ourselves better. We are the gold. You have a beautiful DNA blueprint that is being activated. Now, maybe you've been having some really interesting lucid dreams. Maybe you've been hearing some ringing in one of your ears, having some kind of synchronicity. I have a little chart here, the signs of synchronicity. Has anyone out there? Hey, Bob Harding. Hello. I'm glad you're doing well. Has anyone out there experienced synchronicity? What is synchronicity? Well, it's kind of a validation. It's a sign that you are on the right path. And it's when events that have nothing to do with each other overlap. Like I always give the example, you're in the coffee shop and maybe that particular day you started to think, maybe I want to get into a new activity, or I want to start writing a book, something that you just came upon and you really are thinking about it. And maybe you're in the coffee shop that day and you're looking for a drink and someone just happens to stand by you talking about exactly what you were thinking about. That's a sign that you're on the right path. It's synchronicity. So here's some signs. You're seeing magical numbers, maybe some angel numbers, maybe your favorite number. All of us have a favorite number. I'm born on the 15th, I'll share with you. So that's my favorite number. I also like the number 5. I like 8 because I'm born in the 8th month. Maybe you think of someone who instantly calls you or sends you a text message. That's a sign of telepathy, I think. You randomly come across a product or answer that solves a problem you've been having. These are signs of synchronicity. You know, we could say, oh, it's a deja vu or it's a coincidence. But are there really coincidences? I believe when things are meant to happen, they just do. Hey, Deanna. Hello, Deanna. Thank you for joining us. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Mary Amy, coming live from New York. I'm 45 minutes outside of Manhattan. But I live on a beach town. I live in a beach town. So there's beaches all around me. You know the timing is right for you. Like you have a hunch within you. And you're like, oh my gosh, I think this is when I should do it. And then there's validation. There might be people or solutions that appear in your life. Again, here it is. Number 6, you hear some stranger discussing an issue or something that you're interested in. So there you go. I bet whether you realize it or not, you are encountering synchronicity. And you know why I think that? Because if you're here joining me, this is what I'm all about. And when you start paying attention to your sleeping dreams, listening beyond the walls of the room, opening up your clairvoyance, opening up your third eye chakra, start tuning into your heart, having more compassion and forgiveness, you are going to experience synchronicity. The more clear you are, the more that will become validated. So I always mention dreams. I mention your intention. Your intention is vital because if you go into a situation, it's kind of like having a bad thought. You're like, well, I don't think I can do this, or I'm really scared about it. Your intention is not going to take you through that task or activity. You're kind of going to actually maybe fall apart on the way in. So let's try when we are about to encounter an endeavor or we're doing something that we're excited about, let's think about having a good positive intention. Like, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do a great job. Because we want to shoot up here. We don't want to shoot down here. And if you only shoot here, guess what? You're going to get down here. You want to shoot high, shoot high. And then our thoughts are very powerful. From the beginning of the day, like the last video I did, if you watch it, I talk about this 1111 portal. And I said, how about if the night before, which was a Friday night, it was last Friday, if you write down the first thought that you want to have, like a positive, great thought, maybe a wish, something you're excited about, and then you look at it on the wall next to your bed, you wake up and you're like, oh, that's the first thought of my day. It's going to change you. All of these suggestions will change you. Now, maybe a little bit, baby steps, or maybe a whole lot. It's entirely up to you. The more we embrace this and accept all of ourselves, have a willingness, then the more will come into our lives, something that might be mystical or exciting, something that you thought about when you were a kid and you're like, oh, I really want to be, I don't know, I really want to be a rancher or a farmer or a cowboy or a novelist, whatever it is, it will come forward. And when we meditate, and I mentioned meditation and visualization, and we quiet our mind down, we start to realize that there's memories below that we didn't acknowledge in the past, and they just surface and we go, oh my gosh, that's what I always wanted to do. All right, so let's get on to government corruption. We have to get on to the topics because we're already 9 minutes in. I'm already behind the 8 ball right now. I'm a big chatterbox, and I don't know how long it's going to take before I lose my voice. As you can tell, all the new jobs, I lose my voice, and I think I need to get back to taking supplements. All right, so government corruption. Do I have a picture of the government? No, I don't. What do I have here? I have a picture of the branches of government. I guess I'll hold that up. So is there government corruption? Oh, what's Bob Hart? Hey, Anastasia. Messages therapist text me out of the blue to ask if I'm into it. Validation about her near-death experience. It was more than that. Very interesting. Well, that's interesting. Usually when you go to a therapist, they're just waiting for you to do all the talking in there, and they're like, oh, how did that make you feel? They don't tell you about their own experiences. I think that's wonderful. Congratulations on 400. Thank you so much. I think I got to 401 today, or 402. So keep subscribing to my channel. I know I'm shadow banned. I'm shadow banned on every single social media. You are an intuitive empath, Bob Harding. All right, so government corruption. Why am I bringing up government corruption? Because there must be some of that going on. And what is corruption exactly? Well, it's when someone takes it upon themselves to get personal gain by doing something. And it involves an organization in a position of authority, and it's an abuse of power. Now, maybe it's something as high as large as high treason, when you have a disloyalty to your country, you undermine the country, you have acts of war against your country. Government corruption can be many things. It can be you're taking money, you're involved in bribery, high treason, disloyalty, influencing embezzlement. And I'm mentioning this because we are on the cusp, the precipice of big change right now. And I'm hearing whispers of this in the next few days, that there's going to be information that is revealed. Now, there's been dates in the past, and we've heard, oh, something's going to change, and everything will be known. There will be the emergency broadcast system. Where's my little picture of that? The emergency alert system, and we will hear about tribunals. We will see them. We will have 10 days of darkness. La-di-da-di-da-da-da. I'm bringing this up because it's definitely going to become evident that there have been some officials that have been involved in doing naughty things. It can be something that destabilizes all of our systems. I truly believe that it didn't happen overnight. I believe that if there was any government corruption, it started at the ground level, and then it's just been built above that. It's not like there's been a few guys here and there, few guys and gals. I think it's been all along, and now it's just been discovered. And it's been discovered because I believe divine energies have come onto the earth, and I speak of angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. Here's a picture, Temple of Dance, Celestial Celebration, Dance of Angels. See these angels dancing, and here's 3 angels. There's angels at the Nativity. Here's some angels down here. And angels are immortal. They usually are seen in fine arts with halos and wings, and they're pure, and they're good, and they're messengers, and they're warriors, and they're here to protect us. And sometimes if you open up your third eye chakra, you can see another dimension, and very well, possibly you could see an angelic realm. And there's been this spiritual war that we've been going through, good and evil, and you can see it. It's interesting. Today I was on Twitter. I love to go on Twitter and see all these different posts. And I saw this fashion show in Paris. And every single costume, I want to say costume because it couldn't have been clothing that we'd wear, It looked like it was satanic. It looked like evil, like Satan. I mean, it was very strange, like really extreme, very evil. And it's because every single being that's on our planet Earth right now has risen up to try to grab all of us and pull us down and take away our purity and our love and our goodness that's in our heart. And they're trying to do this because they are terrified. The jig is up. It's over. The masks are coming off. We know about clones. There are these different corruption cases going on. We are about to enter into 2024? Here we are in November. And then we hear about this election. Is there really going to be an election? Is there going to be a new government? And I'm going to get into a new civilization because I believe that we are really about to have a lot of change. And I've been preparing you and I've been speaking about it because we have to kind of get into a different mindset. And what I've been telling you is if more of us think a certain way and more of us act a certain way, then it will kind of connect to other beings. So we will be sending them our positive energy. And I'm talking about the good stuff. I'm talking about loving ourselves, having self-love, and then loving others. It's like when you say, "Oh, I want to have a relationship. I want to have love. I want to find my soulmate." Well, are you loving yourself? Are you loving the people around you? Because if you're not really going to find love out here in the outer world. You're just not. You have to start by loving yourself. So what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to find the love in your heart. So we're going to do this together right now. You know, I always break up my topics with doing little activities. And why do I do that? Because little by little, it's going to change you in a positive way, in a good way, in a healing way. All right, so let's let go of any tension that we have. We're going to, feel like a rag doll. So we're going to send all of our energy down our arms, through our fingertips. Let out a breath. Maybe move your jaw around. Oh, I heard a crack. Move your head around. Just let go of any tension you have because by the end of the day, we're all stressed out. We have money concerns. We have work concerns. We have family concerns. Here we are about to embark on a holiday week, Thanksgiving. So we're thinking. So right now, we're going to find peace within us. So we're going to let go of any tension that we have in our physical vessel. And we're going to be like a rag doll. We're going to push away any doubt that we can do this. No, I'm not going to have any doubt. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to have confidence. None of this is going to happen for you if you have doubt. For just this small bit of time, just try it. Okay? And so we're going to do some breaths in and out. Inhales and exhales, right? We're going to do 3. Okay? We're going to do it on a 5 count, not an extreme, because we're going to focus on our breath, and that's how we're going to relax, and we're going to tune into our hearts. Okay? So I'm going to hold up my fingers and we're going to do it together. Now, hopefully you got a little bit more relaxed. It's good for me to do as well. And I hope you understand that this is a way so that you're going to generate more real emotions, real psychic phenomenon, and more of your truest emotions and moods. All right, so now that you've done that, I'd like you to just relax. Drop down into your physical vessel. Imagine your feet firmly planted in the earth. So you're going to imagine your feet in the ground. The base of your spine, your root chakra, is down in the ground as well. So you're grounded. You're going to say, "Oh, I have so much gratitude for this moment. I'm so lucky that I'm here. I'm breathing. I look around. I see what's around me. I have this bottle of, it's an Alien. It's filled with vodka. I don't know if I'll ever drink it. And here's a little angel. Here's some flowers. Okay. And now what I'd like you to do is, after you've recognized your surroundings, I'd like you to tune into your heart space. And I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and I'd like you to ask yourself how you're feeling. Maybe it's one word, maybe it's a sentence. I'm going to be quiet. Okay, so hopefully you had one answer that you received. Now, if you feel as though, or you sense that you're not coming up direct information, it's because you have too many layers covering your heart. You want to get directly to your heart. That's the first step for psychic phenomenon. It really is. Because if you understand yourself, then you're going to be able to connect more with everything out here in the physical reality. You'll be able to hear more, see more. And so for me, what did I get? I received that I was relaxed and I have contentment. Now, whatever you received is specifically correct for you. There's no right or wrong answer. Everything I share with you personally is right for me. Now, when it comes to psychic phenomenon or realizing your telepathic ESP skills, it's going to be different for you than anyone else. How you receive the information, what you see, what you hear. So accept it. All right, so back to government corruption. So government corruption, we are going to find out possibly soon in the next few days. Can't be sure of it. I don't know. I'm just saying I'm putting these topics out there because I believe they're relevant. I'm hearing that there's going to be some kind of change that goes on in the next few days. By Sunday, I'm hearing the internet's going to go down. The banking system's going to change. Now, we know right now, where's that little chart? When it comes to the branches of government, there's a lot of people involved. And that's why I thought, you know what, I think I need to delve down this rabbit hole and figure out exactly what I'm talking about. So here's the three branches of government: the Congress, the Senate, the House of Representatives, the President, the Vice President, the Cabinet, the Supreme Court, the federal courts. There's a lot of people involved in the government. There are a lot. For example, there are 542 federal offices alone. These are a lot of people telling us what to do. And there's a lot of corruption in these federal offices. There's the president, the vice president. I'm not naming names. I'm just saying I know there's corruption because I've heard about human trafficking, child trafficking. I've learned about and heard about this money. I mean, how is it possible that some of these members of our government started out, they make $177,000 a year, 177 or 175,000, and then they're worth 42 million. How is that possible? Aren't they supposed to be leading us? Aren't they supposed to be taking care of the people? Where are they getting all this money from? There's 435 members of the House of Representatives, 4 delegates to the House of Rep from U.S. territories. In the United States, there are over 100,000 members of the government, including school boards, Washington, D.C. There's a lot of people involved. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Are we going to hear about this firsthand? I believe we're going to hear something about it. Right now, they're talking about a Biden impeachment inquiry with subpoenas. Hunter Biden, this is just in the news right now. The House Speaker Johnson says he has key witnesses to testify under oath, sworn testimony. All right, well, I'd like to get into and speak about now, and I'm back into the government debt. Now I'm going to talk about government debt. How much government debt do we have right now? Well, they say we have $33 trillion. How did it get that large? Government debt, the national debt, covers outstanding expenses. So here's a little chart. Our country's gross government debt Our finance liabilities borrowing due to past government deficits. The expenditures exceed the revenues. So right now, as of September 2023, we're at 33 trillion. How did that happen? How did we get to 33 trillion? How does that happen? Did they just keep printing money? That means that we don't have enough money to cover our bills. What are they spending our money on? I don't know. Well, it started in 1929. We were at that point 17 billion when the market crashed. It went 1939, 40 billion. The Repression ended. 1941, 49 billion it went up because the US entered into World War II. Do you see how it's happening? Then in 1942, it went up to 72 billion. World War II ended. Oh no, the defense tripled. Then 1945, guess what happened? World War II ended, and the national debt went up to $259 billion. Now I'm going to skip to 1984. Guess what it went up to? It went into the trillions. 1.5 trillion. 2020 went up to 26 trillion. 2022, 30 trillion. And here we are in 2023, and we are in debt for $33 trillion. Well, I'm going to ask you this. If we, in fact, get rid of all the government corruption and we start a new civilization, which I'm going to get into, a new civilization outside of this kind of world that we've been living in, cities, like this looks like an example of a city, what's going to happen? Are we still going to have debt? Are we still going to have debt if we change our systems? Hopefully not. If we have one of these crashes, I don't know. We're going to find out. So are we going to enter into a new civilization? And what do I mean by that? Well, I've spoken about it. I said, let's say, for example, that you woke up one day and nothing was the same. Nothing was as you know it. In other words, you didn't have a job you had to go to. You didn't have to worry about paying a mortgage or paying your rent. I don't know if the lights would come on because I don't know if anyone would be doing their job. Let's say you had to start all over. You just start all over. What would you want to do with the rest of your life? It's something to think about, isn't it? Are we about to embark on the end of a civilization? Like I said, this weekend is something going to change. And it's not just these truthers or conspiracy theorists are saying this. It is literally coming up on, if you look at the news in the last few days, they've said, well, the internet might go down. The internet might go down for months and months because of a solar flare or a solar storm. So they're preparing us. They're preparing us for something. Is it going to be a reset? Are we going to see military tribunals? Is it going to be days of darkness? I was listening to one of these podcasts earlier, and they were discussing these tribunals. And why would they have to have a televised military tribunal? In other words, or an execution? Because they want people to really see that it happened. They believe it. Because it's the end of, I guess, this period, the civilization that we've been living in. A lot of darkness. I mean, we all probably have our own perspective on whether or not that's a good idea. So when and if we end this civilization that we've been living in, and the one I'm referring to the one that when we wake up and we have to go to a 9-to-5 job, and maybe it's in a building like this. Maybe you have to get up and you have to go into work and sit at a desk with your computer or store. I mean, I have a couple of jobs in the matrix because I need to pay my bills. I can't just have one job. I have to buy food. So maybe you have more than one job like I do. Maybe you have something that you're very joyful in what you do, and you don't say, "Oh, I don't want to go to my job." It might not be a grind for you. But if in fact we do change our history, which is the civilization has been our history, has been the narration of or narrative of humans. That's what a civilization is, where there's record keeping. So if you want to say what is exactly is a civilization, it constitutes record keeping, a way that you can receive food or food is produced. There's complex structures, systems. They say you've reached a civilized state. It's a society that you have conveniences. For us, maybe it's you consider that you can drive a car, or you have safe neighborhoods or roads or grocery stores, whatever you call a civilization. They say intellectual refinement. So these whispers of internet loss, possibly November 19th, which is Sunday, will this stop our everyday life? And what would that mean? Could it be Starlink takes over the internet, or the 5G? And are we going to see military tribunals, which are courts that assert jurisdiction over enemies held in military custody, accused of violations like Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay, and other locations that they have these military tribunals and executions? It's military justice by the armed forces. So these new systems that might come into play. So let's say all of this gets wiped away. What will you do? What will I do? We have to start to think about this. What kind of life do you want in the future? Beyond this moment, what would you like to do? Are you scared? Does that sound really scary? You're like, oh my gosh, what will I do if my car isn't running, or I don't have a job to go to? You're going to have to make a lot more decisions on your own. When we live in a society like we do that tells us what to do, they're like, oh, you have to like this person and follow that person, or you have to stand in line right there to pick that up or buy that. What if there's no direction? What will happen? Will there be mayhem? Are people going to be running through the streets screaming, ah? They're going to lose their minds? Or are they going to kind of just sit still and wait and think, somebody's going to save us? We're going to be given direction. What if you are the one? What if you're the leader and you have to figure out what to do? Are you going to be okay? You have to start thinking this way. There might be a financial crash. There might be a technology crash. There might be a society crash. Am I trying to scare you? No, no. We don't want low vibrational. We're just having the hypothetical. Hypothetically, what would you do? How about that? Does that feel a little bit more safe to you right now? Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And write in the chat. Let's say we no longer have to perform our everyday tasks. How would we buy possessions, essentials, travel, gas, fly, speak, communicate? If you didn't have your phone, what would you do? Go out to your neighbor and talk to your neighbor? Drive over and see a friend? What would you do? Start to think about this. I mean, I've thought about planting gardens. I've spoken about getting these heirloom seeds, which I've heard are the best seeds. If anyone has any information on that, become an heirloom seed distributor. I know there's a lot of talk about silver and gold gold-backed currency. And I've heard that there isn't going to be a cashless society. We're going to have regular cash. Maybe it's going to be called rainbow cash. There's going to still be crypto. There's still going to be some kind of debit cards. But I believe something's going to change. So are you going to be really frustrated, or are you going to have more confidence if our civilization ends? Now, when I say civilization, I'm thinking it's going to look like this. I'm thinking the new civilization is going to appear like this, and it's going to be a beautiful place to live. And we're going to get rid of all the food that really isn't food. We call it food, but there's aisles and aisles of these GMO products that are affecting our health. And I believe that with this new civilization, these dreams, these pipe dreams that I'm having today, I believe that we are going to live a lot longer. Like I say, I'm going to live to 104. People around me know that I say that. I believe that's going to be more common. It's not going to be some kind of really, that's a fairy tale. You can't live to 104. I believe I'm going to live to 104. And with this kind of civilization, are you going to be frustrated because you're not going to be able to prioritize the same tasks or have fulfillment? Are you going to be insecure? You're going to have unresolved issues. You're going to have hostility, aggression. You're going to be defensive, or you're going to be confident, assertive, understanding, more loving if you live in this new civilization like this, which it's green grass, beautiful waters. I mean, I sat on the beach this summer and guess what they said? Can't go in the water. We're shutting down the beach. It's not clean enough. There's dirt. There's dirty stuff in the waters. It's that dirty that they closed the beach in New York. Not once, they did it 3 times for more than one day. That's not a very good sign. Why is the water that dirty? Why is the water that dirty? We're not taking care of what we have? I don't think so. I don't think that there's some human beings on this earth that are they're not taking care of our natural resources. All right, so let's get on to a sky event, and then I'm going to speak about redemption, and then we're going to do some psychic phenomenon. So what sky event am I talking about? Am I talking about maybe extraterrestrials? We've been hearing about, is that upside down? We've been hearing about UFOs, extraterrestrials. Last week I spoke about the Anunnaki, where they here 450,000 years ago, and they made a deal with us. Did they breed humans? And this week I kept hearing, what kind of blood do you have? Because if you have type O, then you are Anunnaki, I think it said. And if you are very aggressive, then you are reptilian. I mean, there's all these, I don't know what to even make of that. I don't believe that. Do I believe there's extraterrestrials? I believe there's extraterrestrials, but I'm not going to make any quick assumptions about any of it just because I haven't seen it with my own eyes. You know how I am. I have to see it with my own eyes. So let me show you. Here's what they call, this guy right here is known as a Palladian from the Galactic Federation of Light. So if this sky event happens that they've spoken about, a sky event, is that going to be Project Bluebeam? And Project Bluebeam is known as this fake alien invasion. Or are we going to really have a sky event where we say, oh my gosh, everyone can see that there are UFOs, UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, UFO, unidentified flying objects. How will we know it's a real thing? Well, maybe it's going to stay there so long that we can't doubt it. Maybe they're going to come down and greet us like this, where here's a guy with his briefcase and there's a spaceship. Will we realize how long extraterrestrials have been here on Earth, involved with Earth? Thousands of years ago, the 1950s, when there were the crash at Roswell in Arizona, we had reverse alien technology. Have we had agreements with extraterrestrials, aliens, species? The Anunnaki, reptilians, draconians, Palladians, Andromedans. So in the next few days, what's going to happen? Is this going to be a sky event related to Starlink or a sky event related to UFOs? I don't know. These are all questions that I have. Do you have any answers for me, anyone out there? Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm really not going into a lot of different directions. I'm really covering, it's almost like the end. The end. Now, where will I go after we hit the end? Because am I still going to have topics to talk about? And I've wondered that because every time I go to have a live, I have a little bit of I have a little bit difficulty trying to figure out what topics, because I've been doing this for over a year and I've covered at least 3 topics every video. And I started this It was a year ago, August, and when I started, I had never done anything like this. I had tried for a minute to go on some other platforms, and I said, you know what? I'm supposed to do this. This is my mission. And I felt it was very fulfilling for me. And I would talk about healing suggestions because I am a coach. I'm an intuitive wisdom coach. I'm certified. I'm also a Reiki master. And I said, I need to help. This is something I should do because I have a certain skill set. So I'm regressing back to when this is all happening. Let's say, for example, for me, we have this 10 days of darkness. Everything goes off. And now everyone knows the truth. What am I going to do? Well, I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to talk about what's going on. I'm going to try to give information about how to help people. I know eventually there's going to be a way for us all to communicate. Maybe it's not going to be telepathically initially. It's going to be some way. So I'm going to continue to do this is what I'm going to share with you. Now, before I get on to redemption, let me remind you, because we all go through very difficult times. You know that I've gone through some difficult times in the last 2 months. I never had so much pain in my body as I have in the last 2 months. And this is light on the horizon. Good things are coming beyond our view. A difficult situation will improve. We must have faith. We must believe. Now, we can't say, oh, I'm looking for a savior. No, I do believe in Jesus Christ. I do believe in God. I do believe in angels, the Virgin Mary, the Holy Spirit. But I'm going to say, I have to save myself. And so do you. It starts with us. And if we believe that there's light on the horizon, which is when I would have these dreams. I'd see this rectangle, I'd be in my bed, I'd get out of my bed, and through the window, I saw the sun rising, the beautiful sun rising every morning that we can all visit and see. And it can touch our hearts and wake us up and tell us, here's a day before us, and we can do anything we like in that day. We can change ourselves. We can be whoever we want, and we can become the best version of ourselves. And anything is possible. You have to have that mindset. Anything is possible. So let's have faith and belief in ourselves. And let's have faith and belief in others. Let's try. All right, so redemption. What exactly is that? Well, redemption is redeeming oneself after an act of sin. It's about being saved. So those that I mentioned earlier in this video, the government corruption, whether or not any government officials were doing any acts against our country, against humanity, against our people. It might not just be in the United States. It might be across the globe. Are they going to seek redemption? And what will that mean exactly if they seek redemption? Well, that's going to mean that basically they're looking for, I guess, a way out. They're looking to redeem themselves, and they will be, I believe, everyone who asks for forgiveness will be forgiven. Now, I don't know if some that went so far and they might be so possessed by evil that they can't get redemption because it's not even in them. I don't know. And that is only for God to decide. None of us. So redemption is atoning for a mistake or fault, being saved, saving from sin, moving from something to something else. And I trust that there are going to be those out there that are going to redeem themselves, and they're going to flip to being a good guy. They say a white hat. So you're being saved from sin or evil. Maybe they were on the cusp of it and they didn't commit the sin and they redeemed themselves. And they ask for forgiveness. Now, Jesus Christ, through his death, saved others of their sin. So it's a substitution from one thing to another. There are those out there that are guilty who are responsible for reprehensible acts. I don't know if they will be redeemed. They violated some kind of law. They were criminals. They did wrong. So the Bible says about redemption, Jesus, I am the way, the truth, the life, walking in faith, asking for forgiveness, being loved to others. So I think that those that are forgiven, when they sincerely ask for forgiveness, they will be forgiven. And it's kind of like in our own lives. Do you know that if you don't forgive someone and they ask and they say, like, please, 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 I'm so sorry I did this, and you don't forgive them, you are blocking yourself from your destiny. You're blocking yourself from your dreams and your desires because you're actually giving that more energy. So I believe that the best thing is, I'm not saying to engage necessarily with someone that hurts you again, but give them their forgiveness and let them be free. And you free yourself up from that. This is just a personal opinion that I'm giving right now. It's maybe not what you want to do, but I'm just saying in my life that I realized when I let go and I gave someone forgiveness, or you may need to ask for forgiveness, it basically is a release. That's just what I realize. I know that there's something called God's law, and there are those out there that have broken God's law, and I don't know if they come back from that. Maybe they have atonement for their sins, and they seek redemption for their deceitful behavior. And that's all I really have to say about that. I want to show some maps. We're going to get onto some psychic phenomenon because I can sense that my throat is heating up, and I don't know how long I'm going to last, and I don't want to. I know this takes a lot out of me because I'm really enthusiastic. I'm so excited about doing these lives, and I love being here, and I'm really grateful to everyone out there. And I just want to share with you that if you are going through something, and it might be something small or something very large. You might have a loss, someone's very sick or passed away, or you're not well. There's always light. There's always a silver lining in every situation. And you want to shake off any kind of negativity and any kind of darkness through doing things like your thoughts, maybe journaling, letting it go, spending time in nature, being with a good friend of yours that you feel understands you. I believe that our mindsets can really help things, and it can really improve how we're feeling. And it starts with us, right? No one out here we can control or can control us unless we allow them to. We have total control of ourselves, and it's entirely up to you. So what I'm trying to say is, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. What I realized is when you're going through some kind of physical pain, there's a lot of ways of addressing it. And I did everything. I fought it. I accepted it. I tried to become insightful. Why is this happening to me? I started researching it. There's a lot of, but really the number one thing is about accepting it and knowing that everything happens for a reason. And I did figure out by the end of it what the reason was. So there's something to be learned in every situation, but I'm just saying, have faith. Believe everything will pass. Everything is temporary. And I'm wishing good things for everyone tonight. Before I get on to psychic phenomenon, I just want to say for you, those of you out there, that are ascending. And if you're ascending, that means that you're kind of going through a metamorphosis in your body. And every part of you is going to kind of shift a little bit, maybe a lot, depends on who you are. If you're somebody that is spent a lot of time in low vibrational emotions, like you've been angry, you've been not so happy, you've been moody, you've kind of been angry, and you're kind of shifting into this person that is a little bit more optimistic, a little bit more happy, a lot more fun. You're going to start to go through some physical changes. Maybe you're going to detoxify. Maybe you're going to go through some kind of illness so that it leaves your body, negativity and darkness. You might begin to have some personality changes. You might start seeing when you go to sleep something like this, which is called light codes. And you'll see, when you close your eyes, you'll see all different visuals. Maybe it'll be an ancient civilization. Maybe you'll see light moving. It might be that you engage with different color lights. Maybe it will be that you'll have a visual. You'll start to communicate with beings in another realm. You might be woken up at different hours of the night, the same time each night. For me, if there's a full moon, forget it. I have the worst time with full moons. First of all, I'm exhausted. And second of all, it messes up my sleep. Maybe you're going to leave certain food types. Like for me, when I was ascending, I started ascending. I mean, I've been ascending for a bunch of years, but really since 2021, I guess it was. And I started receiving all these very strange telepathic messages. You might start hearing ringing in your ears. Your body might start to feel like it's vibrating. You might begin to get into some kind of occupation out of nowhere. You might begin getting new friends or a new romance. Many things are possible, but it's a great, great experience. All right, so let's get on to, hey, Bob Harding. It's not things or events that are upsetting. It's my judgment, those things that can, yeah. I think if we have to just alter our belief system. All right, so let's get into some psychic phenomenon. All right, here's the little chart. You've all seen it before, haven't you? Are you clairvoyant? Are you clairsestinent? Are you clairaudient? Are you clairgustinant? Are you claireffactance? Are you a channeler or a medium? Who was it just recently? Oh my gosh, just recently I realized someone I know is a medium. I have to remember that. It was in the last week. Someone I met is a medium and they didn't realize they were. So all of these clear senses are about knowing. And so you get this information. You didn't get it from a book. You didn't get it from the television. You didn't get it in a conversation. You got it out of nowhere. It came to you out of nowhere, to you. And you're like, oh, I'm crazy. I've lost my mind. Because how do I know this? No one's going to believe me. I think I'm insane. You might just say, I think I'm insane. You're not. Because we all have these abilities. It's just that we have not practiced. So what I like to do here is I like to practice telepathy and our clairsenses because you're stretching yourself. And when you stretch yourself, maybe not in this moment, but in the future, you will start to gain more and more of these precog skills. And it's not just going to be where, oh, wow, I can read that person's mind, or I'm seeing remote viewing somewhere. It's going to help you in all aspects of your life. It's going to help you make decisions. You're going to start to get hunches. You will know Your gut will tell you, like it will be so strong that you can't deny it. And that's why this is so helpful, because it's not just helping you. It's not just like a fun little trick. What it is it's going to help you to become more in touch with yourself. And that's why I know that this is the way to go. All right, so let's remind ourselves our clairvoyance. Our clairvoyance is clear vision. And our clairvoyance is the ability to see people, objects, locations, or events in the past or present, and or the future even. And we open up our third eye. Elsa, do you want to? What's going on, Elsa? You okay? What's the matter? Elsa just kind of freaked out. I don't know what Elsa saw. Maybe she saw a ladybug. Elsa, why don't you sit there? Because I have some ladybugs. It's like I have an infestation of ladybugs lately. Is that good luck? Maybe. So if you have not opened up your third eye, your clairvoyance, not all of us are going to be able to do all these things. Mostly, we have at least one of these skills that we can master. And if you practice enough, you will gain more and more and more. Like for me, I'm connected to 3 of them. And some of them I didn't choose. Like when I've received spirits that come to me, I was okay with seeing them. I wasn't really big on talking to them or communicating. I'm okay if I can see them. I just am not, it's not something I want to be. I don't want to be a medium. All right, so clairvoyance, how are you going to open up your third eye? Maybe you're going to sit here and you're going to say, you uncross your legs and you just remind yourself of all the steps where you relax. You're just going to take your finger and you're going to imagine light beaming. Maybe you imagine that's a doorway and what's through the doorway, and start to really stretch your skills, stretch your clear senses. What do you see through your third eye? Maybe you're going to tap. Maybe you put some gemstones. I've lots of gemstones, and you place it there. And you just focus. A lot of what I'm telling you is just about concentration and focus and asking for it. Now, if it doesn't come to you, then just don't force anything. I'm also going to remind you about hearing beyond the walls of the room. So you go into a quiet space, you turn off your technology, and you're just peaceful. And you're just listening. What do you hear in the room? First, what do you hear in the room? And then you say, can I hear beyond the walls of the room, like down the street? Can I hear out into the cosmos? Can I hear to another country? And you don't use your thoughts. You push away thoughts. You have a willingness and a self-confidence, and you can do it. You just listen. And you practice. When you least expect it, it's all going to come forward. And then, like we did earlier, your heart. Now, maybe you're going to sense some kind of taste in your mouth and that you won't be eating, or smell. Every one of us is going to have different skills. So claircognizance, you have knowing something without reading or hearing about it, is all coming from a different source, an outside source from ourselves. You're going to receive a flash of information, which is called an impression. And the impression is going to come through as a sound, a voice, a feeling, a picture, a mental picture. And it's a physical sensation, and you're going to accept it, or you're going to grab it and hold on to it and study it, be in it until you can't stand it anymore. When I receive information, it's a lot of energy to focus on it. All right, so let's practice. Let's try some clair work. And then I want to do a ball of light because we didn't do that last week. and I suggest something, and then you have the experience of what do you hear, see, or feel, or know. All of this is knowing. You have this sixth sense. You have it. I 100% guarantee you have it. Okay, so let's try this together right now. We're at the 1 hour mark in 6 seconds. Or no, we're at 1 hour. We're actually the exact 1 hour mark in 15 seconds. Elsa, what do you want? You want to get down now? Elsa, we're going to do this clear work. And now you want to get down. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so let's do the steps, and then I'm going to give you a suggestion. All right, so everyone, I'd like you to let go of any tension that you have in your body. Let out a breath, like we did earlier, like you're a rag doll. And you're also going to remind yourself of the base of your spine, your root chakra. It's going deeply into the earth surface, so you're grounding yourself. And then we're pushing away any thoughts that we have, right? And we are going to let out a breath. We've already focused on our breathing, so I'd like you to remind yourself to focus on your breathing. And then I'd like you to choose one of your senses: your hearing, your clairvoyance, your third eye, your heart. And I'd like you to maybe all three. And I'd like you to choose one of those. I'm going to choose my hearing like I usually do. And then maybe my sense of touch. I'm going to give you a suggestion, and let's see what impressions you receive. Okay, so choose at least one of these. You can choose up to 2 or 3 if you choose, whatever you like. Now, if one isn't working, try another. Okay, and write down what information you receive. All right, so my suggestion, I'm going to focus on my hearing beyond the walls of the room. My suggestion is I'd like you to remind yourself of the first memory you had of going to school. The first memory you had of going to school. Okay, I'm going to be quiet. Okay, so what I remember is, I remember that when it was when I went to kindergarten, and apparently I was really focused on the color green. And I picked a little green. You were allowed to have these little green rugs to take a nap on. So I picked green, and I had ponytails, like little ponytails, and I had green ribbon. And I remember meeting the teacher. I don't think it was the first day. I think it was one of the first days. So that's the first day I remember of going to school. So I don't know what you remember. It's funny because until this very moment, I know I had this memory, but I never acknowledged it. So it's interesting. Now, the reason why I make these suggestions is because it enlightens you to how you feel a certain subject, where you got your original, maybe your moods, or why you do things. So it kind of helps us to find ourselves. Okay, now before we go, what I'd like to do is because I'm going to lose my voice, like I said. And tonight we spoke about government corruption, government debt, end of civilization, a sky event, redemption. It's all good stuff. Now, we're not going to do this tonight, but I'm going to remind you, in the past, we've spoken about sending light around. You know what? We are going to do it right now before we do a ball of light. What I'd like everyone to do is I'd like everyone to close their eyes. And I'd like you to remind yourself, you can either visualize light, you can have your eyes open or your eyes closed. I'd like you to imagine light, a band of light, maybe an inch, not an inch, a foot wide of white light. So I'd like you to kind of gather in your imagination a visual of white light. And maybe you do it with your eyes open, maybe because you have opened up your third eye. And now what I'd like everyone to do, if you choose to, is I'd like everyone to imagine circling the globe with a band of light, like the whole entire globe, because I'd like us all to bring light onto the earth. And we can imagine sending the light around the earth, and we can send it one direction. You know, I always say counterclockwise and clockwise. So we're sending light around the earth, maybe 3 times. So we do 1, a band of light. And a band, and going the other direction. Obviously, a foot long is not going to cover the earth, so it's going to have to be a lot bigger than a foot. I just realized. So we do a foot around ourselves. And so now we send the light the other direction, because we're sending light around the earth, aren't we? And that's what I'm imagining. I mean, if in fact you believe that the earth is round, I know there are those that are flat earthers and they don't believe the earth is round. All right, so that's one thing we do. Now I'd like everyone to rub their hands together and take them apart. And hopefully you feel some kind of energy on the palms of your hands. And now what I'd like you to do is, I'm feeling a lot. Wow. And I'd like you to bring this ball of light, because it's a ball of energy, in your energy field. All of these little exercises will help you. They will all help you. They'll help you to be more positive. They'll help take away any negativity. And they will also give you, I guess, more inner light. So bring light all around yourselves, right? Okay, well, that's it, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. And you're in the middle of it, and I'm going to circle light around you, and you're going to make a wish. And let's all believe good things are coming, and I'll be back as soon as I can. So you're in the center of it, and you're making a wish, and I'm sending it this way. And that's it. Everyone be well. Thank you. I hope you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. Please write comments, share with me. Thank you for everyone for joining. Thanks, Deanna. Thanks, Anastasia. Thanks, Bob Harding. And I'll be back again soon. Bye.